Another state is proposing regulation on the practice of wholesaling real estate, and it's looking like it's gonna pass and become law this year. This time, it's the state of Nebraska, and on this video, I'm gonna break down this new law and how it will impact you. But whether you wholesale in Nebraska or not, you need to watch this video to be aware and prepared for what's happening in the industry coming up.
This video is brought to you by Flipster, the nation's #1 real estate software, with tools for finding, funding, and flipping houses. Check it out now at getflipster.com.
If you're new here, I'm Jerry Norton. I make millions of dollars a year wholesaling and flipping houses, and here on my YouTube channel, I show you how to do the same. So if you want to be a flipping genius like me and live your dream life, subscribe to my channel and watch my videos. I'm not gonna say it. Okay, yes I am. I told you so. I've been preaching from the pulpit over the past year that regulation is coming to the wholesaling industry, and it's coming fast. Illinois and Oklahoma have already passed laws that make the practice of wholesaling houses using an assignment of contract illegal without having an active real estate license. And last year, 2 major cities, Philadelphia and Atlanta, passed specific policies limiting the way wholesalers transact within those cities' jurisdictions. Now, I've been leading the movement of informing and providing awareness to the wholesaling industry, and I've done videos here on my channel breaking down the laws in each of these cities and states, as well as several videos about how the wholesaling industry is under attack and what you can do about it. And I put all of these videos in a playlist, and I highly recommend you watch them so that you can stay at the forefront of the industry. Now, I'll put the link to that playlist in the description below, and you can watch it later. And over the past year or so, I have been predicting that the rest of the states are going to follow suit and begin passing similar regulations, that the domino effect has started. This year, we know that the real estate commissions in Texas, Missouri, and Kansas are also exploring regulations and have publicly stated that they plan on proposing legislation this year. And now, Nebraska is next to put wholesaling on the chop block. Senator Walz, on behalf of the Nebraska Real Estate Commission, introduced Legislative Bill 892 that would require wholesalers to get a real estate license. We'll take a close look at this bill, and I'll break it down specifically how it will impact wholesalers in a minute, but it's looking like this bill is going to get passed and become law. Currently, as of this recording, it's in for final review, and then it will get presented before the governor to be signed into law. Now, once that happens, it will go into effect 90 days later. Now, I'll pin a comment below this video with updates, so depending on when you watch this video, you'll know what's going on. So before we take a look at this new proposed law, first, it's important to understand the perspective of the Real Estate Commission about licensing requirements. In fact, let's read exactly what it says under the Nebraska Licensing Act. Line 3 here says, "It shall be unlawful for any person, directly or indirectly, to engage in or conduct or to advertise or hold himself or herself out as engaging in or conducting the business or acting in the capacity of a real estate broker, associate broker, or real estate salesperson within this state without first obtaining a license." Simply put, the Real Estate Commission says if you act like a real estate agent in any capacity, known as brokering, then you are required by law to have a real estate license. Well, that's been the law in Nebraska since 1973. But now Nebraska is adding a new clause to the law specific to wholesaling that is now included as brokering real estate. Let's take a look. Again, in the Licensing Act, the following is about to be added. Under line 11, it says, "For purposes of this section, acting as a real estate broker, associate broker, or real estate salesperson includes publicly marketing for sale an equitable interest in a contract for the purpose of real property between a property owner and a prospective purchaser." Now, the key terminology here is publicly marketing for sale an equitable interest in a contract. So in case you don't know, when a wholesaler executes a contract with a seller, that contract is a legally binding and enforceable contract, and as such, the wholesaler is a principal in the contract and has what's called equitable interest in the property. That means he has a right or a claim to obtain title, and the seller has an obligation to transfer title. So that contract with equitable interest becomes an asset that can be sold, which is what wholesalers do. They sell their contract using an assignment agreement to cash buyers for a fee. So assuming this law is passed, which by the way is the exact same law recently passed in Oklahoma, let me be super clear about what you can and can't do. It's not the act of wholesaling that requires a license. You can still wholesale doing the assignment of contract. It's how you find a buyer that matters now. It's publicly marketing your contract for sale that is now considered brokering and requires you have an active real estate license. So, what does it mean to publicly market a contract for sale? Posting your contract for sale on a website or on a Facebook group, that would be considered publicly marketing. But let's say you have a business relationship with a cash buyer and you call him directly about your contract for sale. Or if you're in my Finder program and you bring me your contract for sale, that would be a private wholesale transaction since you're not publicly marketing your deal and therefore would not require a license. By the way, I'm actively looking for more deals that I can fix and flip, and I'll pay you $10,000 for every deal you bring me that meets my criteria. If that sounds exciting, then go to my10kcheck.com to register for a free training to learn more about it and get all the details. And just in case you're wondering about the penalty for violating licensing law, the statute states that you could be fined $1,000 per day until the violation is rectified, or be fined in the amount earned from the unlicensed commission. In other words, you could be fined in the amount of your wholesale fee. So what does this mean if you're a wholesaler in Nebraska? Well, at first glance, this may seem like a negative thing. It means you'll have to take the time to get licensed and incur fees to obtain and maintain that license. If you don't want to get licensed, you have two other options. Option one is just hire a licensed agent to market your deals for you. Now you'll have to figure out how to compensate that agent, but at least you don't have to get your own license. Or option two is don't do the assignment and instead double close. A double closing is when you purchase the property with the seller, thus fulfilling the contract and conveying title, and then immediately resell the deal to your cash buyer. The problem with double closings is you need the cash to close on the first closing, which is why I started a fund that provides 100% of the cash needed for double closings. Now to learn how to get your first double closing wholesale for free, go to usejerryscash.com. But let's look at the possible upside to getting your license. Now, I believe as a wholesaler and as an investor, getting licensed has several benefits. You'll be better educated about real estate. You can get MLS for finding and comping deals. If you fix and flip, you can list your own properties for sale. You can set up showings and you can earn referral fees from other agents. Those reasons alone are worth the time, effort, and additional cost to get licensed. I've had my real estate license since I started 18 years ago, and it's made me a better investor and pays for itself 10 times over every year. I did a video explaining all the benefits in detail. I'll put the link to that video in the description below and you can watch it later. And now if you get licensed in Nebraska, you can publicly market your wholesale deals, but I think this law introduces another possible benefit that could be huge. Since the Real Estate Commission is now mandating that publicly marketing a contract for sale requires a license, that means they have to allow listing those contracts for sale on the MLS. Currently, not all MLS systems in Nebraska allow that, but when this bill becomes law, they will have to allow listing contracts in all MLS systems. Now, the reason why that could be significant for wholesalers is because listing on the MLS gets maximum exposure in the market. That means listing your wholesale deals will reach a lot more buyers and could result in selling for a much higher price. Remember, the more eyeballs that see your deal, the more money you'll get. Now, one thing is certain about this new law. It will make the barrier to entry into the wholesaling industry a little more difficult. My advice to you is instead of being discouraged, look at this as a blessing in disguise. People who aren't serious about the business will leave and look for something easier to do. That means less competition for those willing to put in the work. Finally, I've been talking about how the wholesaling industry is under attack from regulatory boards and consumer protection agencies, and how important it is that we organize as an industry, create best practices, and have a voice to stand up to the anti-wholesaler movement in America. And that's why we formed an association. If you agree and you want to be a part of the solution, go to nrewa.org to join the waiting list and pledge your support. And if you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe to my channel. With almost 850 detailed videos, this is the #1 channel on YouTube for all things flipping, and I'll see you on the next video.